Luke Harper, or as many knew him later, Brody Lee, wasn't your typical WWE superstar. He didn't cut flashy promos. He didn't have a pretty boy look. He didn't politic for the spotlight. But what he did bring was raw intensity, deep character work, and an in-ring style that made you believe every punch was real. Fans respected him. Many wrestlers admired him. But let's be honest, not everyone liked him. Behind the scenes, and sometimes even on camera, Harper's journey was filled with frustration, creative clashes, and yes, real tension with some of WWE's biggest names. Whether it was due to personal differences, style conflicts, or just being misunderstood, Harper managed to rub certain people the wrong way. In today's video, we're diving into the 6 WWE superstars who, for one reason or another, had major issues with Luke Harper. Some of these names might shock you, some might make sense, but all of them played a role in shaping the complicated story of a man who was never fully appreciated, until it was too late. 1. Shawn Michaels, age 60. Shawn Michaels, now 60, is a wrestling legend whose influence goes far beyond his memorable in-ring performances. Today, he plays a crucial role behind the scenes as a lead trainer in WWE's NXT, helping shape the future of wrestling by mentoring the next generation of stars. Known for his exacting standards and perfectionist approach, Michaels has a very clear picture of what makes a top star. When Luke Harper was developing his craft in WWE's developmental system, their paths crossed frequently. Harper brought something unique to the table. A rugged, intense style paired with a brooding, silent persona that gave his matches a psychological edge. Many coaches appreciated this depth and the storytelling Harper offered. However, Michaels wasn't quite as convinced. Shawn tended to favour wrestlers who combined athleticism with charisma and strong mic skills, those who could instantly connect with the crowd. Harper's quiet intensity and more methodical ring style didn't exactly match that mould. People familiar with Michaels' views say he once described Harper's in-ring work as slow and uninteresting, a reflection not of disrespect, but simply a difference in wrestling philosophy. Shawn's own career was built on high-flying moves and dramatic storytelling, so Harper's more subdued style may have felt too restrained or lacking in the flair Michaels looked for. Harper later alluded to this kind of rigid mindset when he said, "Some coaches only want you to fit in a certain mould. If you're different, you're out." That sentiment spoke to a broader challenge many wrestlers face when trying to break into a system that often rewards certain looks and styles over others. While Michaels and Harper never had any public disagreements, it was clear that Harper didn't receive the same level of backing from Michaels that some other wrestlers in NXT enjoyed. 2. Roman Reigns, age 40. Roman Reigns, at 40 years old, stands as one of WWE's most prominent and enduring figures, often described as the company's chosen one. His rapid ascent began as a key member of The Shield and later blossomed into a successful singles career, making him the face of WWE's modern era. During one of the company's most memorable rivalries, the feud between The Shield and the Wyatt family, Roman and Luke Harper were frequently pitted against each other, both on screen and reportedly in backstage dynamics as well. While Roman's star was rising swiftly, Luke Harper found himself struggling to break through beyond the mid-card, despite showing considerable talent and commitment. This imbalance created underlying tension behind the scenes. Sources and reports suggest that Harper was quite candid about his frustrations with the apparent favoritism toward Roman Reigns. He was said to have described Roman's fast push to the top as pure politics, implying that other wrestlers, including himself, had to work much harder for far less recognition. Many fans who closely followed WWE sympathized with Harper, viewing him as an underappreciated performer, overshadowed by the company's focus on Roman Reigns. The situation was made more complex by a teased singles match between Harper and Roman that never happened. Rumours circulated that Roman was hesitant to engage in a lengthy match with Harper, fearing it might slow down the momentum he was building in his own storyline. Roman Reigns has never publicly addressed these backstage rumours, but the wrestling community widely believes that his rise indirectly limited Harper's chances to break into the upper echelon of WWE. This scenario exemplifies the intricate and often political nature of the wrestling business, where factors like timing, storyline direction, and backstage relationships frequently play as significant a role as in-ring skill in shaping a wrestler's career path. 3. Bill Goldberg, age 58. Bill Goldberg, now 58, is an iconic figure in professional wrestling, celebrated for his intense energy and commanding presence in the ring. His legendary undefeated streak in WCW and later success in WWE cemented his place as one of the sport's most memorable performers. However, Goldberg's WWE comeback in 2016 and 2017 sparked mixed reactions among fans and fellow wrestlers. His return was marked by quick, decisive matches in which he swiftly defeated younger opponents, a style that showcased his dominance, but left some critics feeling that the art of wrestling storytelling was being overlooked. During this time, Luke Harper was still trying to carve out meaningful storylines and more prominent roles for himself. He didn't shy away from sharing his frustration with Goldberg's approach. On a popular wrestling podcast, Harper openly criticized this style, stating, "Some guys come back, squash a few people, and leave. That's not wrestling. That's ego." Many fans and insiders took this as a pointed comment directed at Goldberg's brief and somewhat one-sided comeback matches. For Harper, wrestling was never just about winning quickly. It was about building narratives that connect with the audience and elevate everyone involved. Goldberg, however, responded by stressing the importance of respecting veterans who paved the way, saying, "These young guys need to respect the ones who paved the way. If they're bitter, that's their problem." Though their differences never erupted into public feuds or on-screen confrontations, those familiar with WWE's backstage scene describe a subtle tension between the two. Harper viewed Goldberg's comeback as unintentionally limiting opportunities for full-time wrestlers eager to grow their careers. On the flip side, Goldberg saw Harper as one of many passionate locker room voices who could sometimes be too outspoken. This quiet, cold war illustrates how wrestling is influenced, not only by in-ring performance, but also by backstage relationships and differing philosophies about the sport. 4. Sting, age 66. Sting is one of the most revered legends in professional wrestling, a man whose career spans decades and who's known for his intense psychological style and slow-burning storytelling in the ring. When Sting finally made his WWE debut back in 2014, the wrestling world buzzed with excitement. Fans and wrestlers alike hoped for major storylines that would showcase Sting's legendary presence alongside WWE's newer stars. For Luke Harper, a key member of the Wyatt family, this moment seemed like the perfect chance to shine. Harper's dark, brooding character and eerie intensity fit perfectly alongside Sting's haunting persona. Many believed that a feud or alliance between Sting and the Wyatt family could elevate Harper's standing and give him a breakthrough opportunity on the main stage. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out that way. WWE's creative team focused the Sting-Wyatt storyline almost entirely on Bray Wyatt, sidelining Harper in the process. Despite being part of the faction central to the angle, Harper found himself pushed to the background, missing out on what could have been one of the biggest moments of his career. This was a huge disappointment for him, and he openly expressed frustration backstage about feeling overlooked and left out of key storylines, even when the character he portrayed seemed like a natural fit. Meanwhile, reports from insiders reveal that Sting himself wasn't very enthusiastic about working directly with Harper, Sting's wrestling philosophy revolves around slow, methodical storytelling, where every move is calculated and precise. He reportedly found Harper's more aggressive and chaotic style to be a mismatch for his own approach, feeling that Harper lacked the finesse and subtlety Sting preferred. 5. Stone Cold Steve Austin, age 60. Steve Austin is one of the most iconic and beloved figures in professional wrestling history. Known for his rebellious Texas rattlesnake persona, sharp mic skills, and incredible ability to connect with the crowd, Austin helped define what it means to be a wrestling superstar in the modern era. His rise was built on charisma, attitude, and a constant electric connection with fans. While Austin never openly expressed any personal dislike or beef with Luke Harper, he has often shared his views on what makes a wrestling character truly successful today. On his podcast, The Steve Austin Show, Austin doesn't hesitate to critique wrestlers whose style, in his opinion, falls short of engaging the audience beyond their look or vibe. Without naming Harper directly, Austin once made a pointed comment about wrestlers who wear dirty clothes and call it wrestling. Many fans took this as a veiled reference to Luke Harper's grungy, silent, and mysterious character, a style that was very much the opposite of Austin's loud, outspoken persona. Austin's own approach relied heavily on charisma, mic skills, and crowd interaction. Harper's style was more subtle and enigmatic, focused on creating an aura of fear and intensity without needing to say much. This contrast highlights a bigger philosophical difference between the two. Austin believed wrestling needed energy and voice, while Harper believed presence and intensity could tell the story silently. Harper once responded to this kind of critique with a thoughtful remark. "Some people want you to yell and scream, but some of us believe intensity can speak without a word." This fundamental difference in approach likely played a role in why Austin never publicly championed Harper's style. Many fans feel that if Austin had openly supported Harper, it might have given his career an extra boost. But ultimately, it's a reminder that wrestling is about many different kinds of storytelling, and not everyone connects with every style. 6. Kurt Angle, age 56. Luke Harper's relationship with Kurt Angle was less about personal dislike and more about a clash of professional visions. In 2017, Kurt Angle was serving as the Raw general manager, overseeing WWE's creative decisions. During this time, Harper was eager to step out of the shadows of tag team wrestling and prove himself as a singles competitor. After years spent in groups like the Wyatt family and later the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper felt it was time to shine on his own. Harper pushed for more singles matches and meaningful feuds, confident he had what it took to succeed alone. However, Angle and the creative team were hesitant. Behind the scenes, reports suggest that Harper's requests for a bigger singles role were repeatedly denied. Angle seemed to believe that not every wrestler was suited for the solo spotlight. In an interview, Angle stated, "Not everyone is built for singles success. Some guys just belong in tag teams." This was widely seen as a pointed remark aimed at Harper, signalling the company's lack of faith in his potential as a solo star. For Harper, this was a tough pill to swallow. Feeling undervalued and frustrated by the creative direction, he grew increasingly disillusioned with WWE. This creative stagnation contributed heavily to his decision to request his release from the company. Though his initial request was denied, insiders say this disagreement over Harper's role played a major part in his eventual departure. There was never a public fallout or confrontation between Harper and Angle, but their differing views on Harper's future clearly created tension. This professional disconnect exemplifies how sometimes, in wrestling, it's not personal battles, but creative decisions and mismatched visions that lead to frustration. And, in Harper's case, a search for opportunities elsewhere. Conclusion: the complex journey of Luke Harper in WWE Luke Harper's WWE career highlights the complex and often challenging nature of professional wrestling behind the scenes. Despite undeniable talent and a unique in-ring style, Harper frequently found himself at odds with the visions held by some of the industry's biggest names and decision-makers. Shawn Michaels' preference for charismatic, high-energy performers, Roman Reigns' favoured status as the company's centerpiece, and Kurt Angle's skepticism about Harper's potential as a single star all contributed to the limitations Harper faced. Meanwhile, his outspoken views on wrestling philosophies clashed quietly with legends like Bill Goldberg and Steve Austin, whose styles and ideals differed from his own. Even opportunities to work alongside icons like Sting didn't fully materialize, leaving Harper feeling overlooked in moments that could have defined his career. Harper's story is a reminder that wrestling is as much about navigating backstage dynamics, creative direction, and politics as it is about skill in the ring. His intensity, dedication, and distinctive presence earned him respect from fans and peers alike, but also showed the difficulties of breaking molds in an industry that often values conformity. Ultimately, Harper's experience underscores the importance of diversity in wrestling styles and the need for greater openness to different ways of connecting with audiences. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more valuable updates.